right gray zone. Like I lost one rally and one APC to them.
Okay, I'll build one very behind. I'll try to hunt the rallies then.
Okay, kill the P-47. Yo, what's up? So, finally, as predicted by yours truly yesterday, we received the big update, the jet plane update. And yeah, the first impressions are quite mixed. Yes, why? Because after all of that months, 5 months long waiting, people had high expectations, but they were also very blue-balled, so they just wanted to have some form of update finally. We got a smaller update than usual, because we didn't get any new mechanics, we didn't get any new... Well, okay, we got jet planes, that counts as a mechanic, but it's also just like the average amount of new stuff. And we didn't get any new map, most importantly. This is like the big downside. So this update was smaller than before. But... well, we got the map reworkings on a Berlin map, though this Berlin map isn't too liked by most people. I played it today, it's like almost 50% of all the Berlin maps you get in rotation right now. And many people have very, very negative associations with this map from the last year, where this map just wasn't balanced or wasn't really fun to play. It's a bit better now than before, but still it doesn't feel really like a Berlin map. Yeah, so, okay, let's look quickly at the main changes. I won't go into every one, just the most important, interesting ones. And then we're going to talk about the balance, because ain't no balance in here. I literally was surprised by how insanely unfair the new update was towards a little bit Japan, but mostly Germany, because Germany got completely schlonked this update, and you're gonna see why very soon. So let's take a look first at the main update. Now, for those who haven't noticed yet, you have the booster. You can activate your boosters. I already said it yesterday. For those who haven't watched, just watch the video from yesterday, so I don't have to repeat everything. You can control your boosters now by activating, deactivating them. Very useful, because otherwise you're just gonna waste your boosters too often. This way you can just stack up and so on. Now, the main changes, or the main additions so far, were that the Soviets received the BR-2 rifle, which is very good. The Soviets semi-auto rifle for BR-2, Soviets were the last nation who didn't have one, is really good. Like the stats, first of all, it's very fun to play. It has great stats, and it has great sights. It has very strong stats. As you can see, it looks almost exactly as a normal Fedorov. So, if you didn't get used to the BR-5 Fedorov yet, now is the perfect time to practice and get used to the sights, because yeah, you're gonna literally profit on BR-2 and on BR-5 from them. Yeah, very cool, strong weapon, and of course it also has a bayonet. Yep, insanely strong weapon. Likely the strongest BR-2 semi-auto rifle now. Now the Soviets have officially the strongest bolt actions on BR-2, and also the strongest semi-auto rifle on BR-2. There's literally nothing where the Soviets don't dominate now. And of course they got the Uragan SMG. Question, is it good? Well, the fun thing is with the Soviets, they have one okay BR-1 SMG, and then they have the strongest BR-2 SMGs. Like, these three are literally the strongest BR-2 SMGs. It's not even close. It's insanely strong. You could argue the new Thompson for the Americans comes close, but like, these three are just insanely strong. And for you who wonder which one should you play, literally try them out all and play the one that you like the most, because they're very similar to each other. It's just a little bit of different stats. Like, they're getting faster and faster. And the question is, what do you want? Better control Do you just want to spray bullets quickly, or do you want to be able to control the recoil better? It depends, but yeah, like the power is just ridiculous. The power is insanely ridiculous. Then the burgers got their Thompson. Ironically enough, this Thompson is also exactly the one that I was already playing the whole time on BR3. And the weapon didn't get nerfed. You literally have a strong BR3 weapon now in BR2 for the Americans. And yeah, this weapon is just insanely good. Just insanely good. It has good sights. And you can see the recoil is very low. Like, very low. Reload is also fast enough. You can easily spray at the enemy's heads. Easily. And just get instant one-shot kills due to the high damage. No matter if the enemies have vitality or not. Yeah, this is one of the biggest boosts ever since the merge to any nation. Also, it's, well, is it balanced? I wouldn't say, because now the Germans have officially the weakest BR2 SMGs and the weakest rifles. The only thing the Germans are good at BR2 now is the machine guns. That's it. They're not even that good in the tank department, and they're still good, but not that good after the Panzer III got removed. So yeah, Germans got quite schlocked overall. So yeah, then, well, the Germans received something in return. They received the new machine gun, which, well, let's put it this way. I'm going to show you the upgraded version with improved stats, because without upgrades you can forget about this weapon. It has insanely bad recoil. But you see, yeah, you need to control it very tightly. So you don't really want to spray it. What you actually want to do is you either want to hip fire it close range when you get rushed by enemies, or you want to go to the ground and then just spray it when it's mounted. Oh, all the bullets are already empty. Well, yep. Now this is not a good substitute for the MG42-100. If you're searching for your one and only machine gun, the MG42-100 is still better, also for historical reasons. This one is theoretically better on short range. I personally don't like how it's breaking immersion, and I'd rather just play the more flavorful MG42s instead. Yeah, so I tried them out, because this is like quite the important weapon addition to the game. But my personal verdict is I'd rather have only the MG42s. The question is, which is the new machine gun good for the bots? I noticed basically no difference. Like the first time I equipped them, my bots got instantly 3 kills. But then I watched the kill feed for 2 more minutes, and then the bots also got kills with the MG42-100. Interesting thing is, the bots seem to prefer the MG42-100, because I had one bot with only MG42s 100s, and other bots had both. And when they had both, they used the new machine gun, and when they only had one, they obviously used the MG42-100. But the kill amount was roughly the same. And yeah, the kill amount was roughly the same, and I had twice as many bots with the new machine gun. So, like, the small sample size so far showed that the MG42-100 actually should be better than the other one. Actually should be better. Yeah, so I don't even know, and we don't even know, I guess, how Gaijin handles the bot mechanics. Whether, if the fire rate is so high, whether bots care, or like whether bots get negatively affected, or whether they're basically immune against the recoil and they just spray precise bullets. I'm not sure, but what's definitely sure is that the MG42-100 has slower shot deviation. So this is something useful. I personally would prefer the MG42-100 over it. Alright, now, and of course the Japanese got the, well, Ofenrohr, which is also immersion breaking. But I would say I don't even care about this in this regard, because you literally didn't have any proper anti-tank gun. Like, you had a Type 4 rocket launcher, which has the armor penetration value of a BR2 weapon. Yes, and nothing else. And now you have finally something that can theoretically one-shot Pershing. So yeah, Japanese really needed it. Now, let's go to the main menu, the jets. Here's the big problem. this whole update is mainly focused on jet planes, yes. And of course, the world famous first official jet plane in production and use, the Messerschmitt Schwalbe, here called a Jagdbomber, meaning, well, fighter bomber, literally. Now, here are some of the first, well, formal problems. This plane cannot be called a fighter. Like, it's called a fighter in Enlisted, it's classified as one, but it literally has the heaviest bomb. It has heavier bombs than most attacker planes in the game, which, well, strongly implies it shouldn't be a fighter, and it has 30mm cannons. This is literally heavier than most attackers would ever have, in terms of cannons and bombs. This is in no way or shape or form a fighter. So, yep. Also, it's by the German definition a Jagdbomber, which is not a fighter. It's not a fighter. It's just an attacker plane that has above average flying characteristics, so it doesn't get called like the normal slowest Stuka type of classification. But yeah, it's definitely not a fighter. The fighter stats in Germany were much better. So, like, for example, Bf-109. So yeah, this is a real fighter. Yeah, this is a real fighter. It has the good machine guns against enemy planes. It has superb flying characteristics, and it doesn't have some insane weaponry. Now, it has some good bombs. Yeah, one good bomb. It has 30mm cannons. Yes, but only because it's BF5, and also because you can easily shred down bomber formations with this, or at least every one or two planes you see in front of you. But this should not be a fighter. So this is the first problem. Second problem is, if you want to become Anton's golden boy and make Gaijin happy and get yourself the German premium jet plane, which I have to say comes with the coolest division icon I've seen in the game. Look at this cool flower. Looks very beautiful. Also, theoretically, you can get yourself a customization of this with the... There is somewhere one. I literally don't know where. I guess here. Yep, there was somewhere an icon with the same flower. I don't know where, but yeah. So if you want to go really hardcore style, you can just put two of those on your wings. Now, this thing is also classified as a fighter. This comes with two extreme problems. First, you can't split those planes. One is a fighter, the other one is also a fighter. Okay. And second problem is, this thing literally cannot be classified as a fighter by any logic, no matter how much you stretch it. It has only a 50mm cannon. That's literally all this plane has, a 50mm tank cannon in its nose. I don't know in which World War planes that used tank cannons in their noses were called as fighter planes. Yeah. This is by all definitions an attacker plane. Absolutely. And it's not even meant to shoot down enemy planes, it's meant down to hunt tanks. Well, at least in Enlisted. In real life, if you wanted to, if you load this nose with HE, you can shoot into bomber formations and then you can shred them, yeah. But let's put it this way, not with this amount of ammunition. This won't do much. Yeah, so in Enlisted, the only purpose of this plane is to shoot down tanks, nothing else. Well, fighter planes don't hunt tanks. Yeah, they hunt enemy planes. So this is 1,000,000,000% an attacker plane. It needs to be changed. Like, the classifications are literally fucking these planes because they don't make any sense at all, and they're immersion breaking, and they're also not good for game balance. Because let's put it this way: Germany has an abundance of great fighter planes. It has the Bf-109 K4, like one of the most fun to play fighter planes in the game, simply due to very nice flying characteristics and also good weaponry. But you can't use it. You need to play this plane if you want to play the normal jet plane from a tech tree. First problem. And if you want to play the Pulkzerstörer, you need to, once again, you have another fighter plane. So, but there's not really that many. There are not really that many good attacker planes, because the Focke-Wulf is bugged. It doesn't fly properly, and this thing got up-tiered, and it's literally worse than the Soviet equivalent and some other similar planes. So this is not good. But if you thought this is bad, it gets worse, because the Japanese got completely schlonked. Don't worry, I'm going to show you some footage of the planes now soon too. Now, what's so bad about the Japanese? The Japanese in Enlisted basically used the blueprints of the Messerschmitt and built a smaller version, because this one is something like 30% smaller and lighter than the German one, which gives it an insane climb rate, and at least in Enlisted, not in real life, a very good turn rate. Alright, but here's the problem. It has only two 30mm cannons. Makes sense, because if the plane is so much smaller, you can't fit 4 of those autocannons anymore. But they also come with only 50 shots per cannon. You know how fast you spend them? Literally instantly. Like and here's the problem: 30mm shells are very heavy. They're like a beer bottle, in terms of size. Almost, yeah, like a. They're not quite. The 37mm shells are like a large beer bottle, and the 30mm shells are like between, like a small one basically. They're big and heavy, and they fly very slowly. And now, since everyone is playing jet planes too, especially the Americans, which we're going to look at soon, you can't hit your planes reliably. Not with 50 bullets, not with 50 shells. So this plane, in theory, looks like a high skill plane, because it's agile, it's very fast, and you theoretically just need to, focus your aim well on the enemy plane, kill it, and then you can't do anything else despite dropping a bomb. But you literally won't hit your targets. With so few bullets, it just doesn't work. Like, it simply doesn't work, and it just doesn't make sense. Like, if this plane was hunting big heavy bombers, it would work. But it doesn't work on normal agile planes in Enlisted. It definitely doesn't work on other jet planes. Also, in World War II, jet planes weren't built to hunt other jet planes. Like, it could have happened occasionally, but that wasn't the goal. More like, they was built for specific purposes, especially the German one. Well, the German was on a round plane, but it was mainly designed to be able to shoot down bomber formations, which is why it had heavy weaponry, like 4 30mm. But in Enlisted, the matchups are basically your jet plane versus the enemy jet planes, and this is exactly what gets you schlonked, because the German jet plane, the Japanese jet plane you can forget. The German Messerschmitt has the problem of, let's test it, of having the worst flying stats out of all of them. It is. Okay, by the way, the sound of the engines is very cool, but it's also very loud, so you have to make it louder. Now, you see, these cannons, I can't show you properly. These cannons are HE, so they don't shred tanks. Unless you're up against BR2 tanks, but this is a BR5 plane, so yeah. This is the first problem. Then, they can shred infantry, yes, but not too reliably. Because, guess what, you don't have too many bullets. Also, they're all in the nose. So, you see, your shots aren't really spreading out well. And, as I already said, in the sky, against enemy planes, you can completely forget it. You won't hit much. And you're also quickly running out of shells, because it's actually, it's not that much. You don't have that many bullets, actually. So, yeah. Usually, having all your firepower concentrated in the nose is great. For example, if these were machine guns, heavy machine guns, it would be perfect, because whenever you touch an enemy, he dies. But the fact that you have 3 30mm and you don't have 4 30mm, it doesn't matter if you hit an enemy with 1 or with 2 or with 3 or with 4. You're literally wasting the other shots. So in real life, this was perfect to strafe bombers, because there you actually needed multiple hits. And you also, if you zoom and boom, you can't just turn around the enemy bombers. You need to quickly get there, quickly strafe them, and shoot all of your load, and then fly away quickly. For that, it was perfect. But in Enlisted, once again, you're fighting against agile enemy planes, and this just doesn't work. Like, this is actually just bad for the German plane, and this is overall, sadly, the Messerschmitt, together with the Japanese Kikka, are the two worst. The definitely two worst of the jet planes, which I would say shouldn't be the case. Now, what about the Soviet one? Oh, well, first of all, what about the Pulkzerstörer? Well, now, you can obviously completely forget it against enemy planes, because you won't hit any plane with it. Yes, some people might upload footage of it hitting a plane. Yeah, but it happens once in like every 50 situations. So that's the first problem. Second problem is, you can kill tanks with it. Oh my god. Another problem. The German plane has horrible flying stats. As I said, the worst out of all jet planes. The Kikko would have survived. It would have turned up, but not the Messerschmitt. Not the Messerschmitt. Yeah, you see, you can't afford... I tried dive bombing with the other one, and yeah. My mistake is I was too low. Now, here's the good thing about these jets, by the way. You can climb very quickly, especially with the Japanese one. With the Japanese one, you can actually do dive bombing, since you reach the... you can reach 2 kilometers... Look at this, you can reach 2 kilometers altitude, basically without trying. Yep, okay, now I'm gliding, which is not what I need to be. Alright. Alright, now we should be able to get perfect hits on the tanks. Where the Soviet tanks at. Yeah, he shouldn't survive this. Okay, you see, yep. This is the problem. You can theoretically just come from the side and hit him this way, but it depends on the tank and where you hit him. Yep, you see, he survived. Now, obviously, I was targeting the strong. Yeah, this was a nice 244. Literally the strongest Soviet tank. Against low BR tanks, it doesn't matter. But since you're playing BR5, you're only going to play against BR5, BR4 tanks. Yep, so sadly, this plane disappoints hard. Like, it's worse than the normal Messerschmitt. And the normal Messerschmitt is already bad. But this one is even worse. I posted, like last week, before the release, that this plane needs a 500 kilogram bomb. Or make it actually fun, give it a 1000 kilogram bomb, so 1 ton bomb, which they were actually easily capable of carrying, and it will become playable. Because this way, it's useless against plane targets, and it's against ground targets, it's barely useful. And here's the problem. If you're playing this, yeah, it can be fun, it can lead to cool situations, but it means your team has one proper plane less in the sky that can be used to shoot down enemy planes. So if you're playing against Americans, and the Americans are gooning your team with a P-47 plus jet plane combo, you're literally one pilot less that can help against it. So this is making it even worse. Now you see how bad the Germans are, like how bad their situation is. Yep, the suffering never ends. Now the Soviet plane is also quite good. By the way, I literally would play the P-40E above the German. Yep, this plane literally... here's the fun thing. The German Messerschmitts are actually so weak in air-to-air combat, they're gonna get easily defeated by BR-2 planes. And in a few games today that I played, I saw how P-48Gs, so this beautiful thing, they were shredding the Messerschmitts. They were literally shredding the Messerschmitts. And I wouldn't be surprised if this happened in real life too, because they have the same nose layout, but here it's actually needed. And here you actually have 2000 shots. You have 500 shots per cannon. And these bullets actually fly fast. These are Browning heavy machine guns. This is what kills enemy planes. Not the fucking slow ass 30mm. Yeah, so the Soviet plane is also good. Am I too dumb to find it? I guess I am. Where is it? It's here. Now, the fun thing is, the Soviet one, since it's literally a Cold War plane, it has a UFO sound. Because the jets, the jet engines are, better manufactured, or they have some cover or so. So you actually don't hear it that much. And you can see, you can actually pull up better with this. Oh, I think Gaijin got smart and implemented 2 resupply points in the practice range. Yes, now you don't have to turn around every time. Alright, let's climb. I'm just gonna fly like a noob and show you whether the flying characteristics are better or not. Now this is slower than it feels slower than the Messerschmitt. It feels slower, but yeah, but it's much more precise. Yep. Also, you don't lose your balance. You glide better. Oh, look at those targets. Look at those targets. And can we penetrate the strong tanks? Not, no, we can't. But we should be able. Now, this plane is also great against enemy. Yeah, this was a 1% hit. This plane is also quite good against enemy planes because you have the 23mm cannons, which, oh wait, it's still just one supply point, fuck. You have the two 23mm, which are very powerful, but not too slow for an autocannon. And if you manage to hit a plane with the 37, it also shreds it instantly. So, and the 37s are actually the really, really big ones. They are literally tank shells. So, yeah, here's the verdict. The Soviet one is better than the Messerschmitt 2 in basically every regard. It has the same bomb, it has better flying characteristics, and it has better cannons. It actually is in a good position against enemy planes, and also can strafe the ground very well. And if you're up against weak tanks, you can even, actually most tanks, you can actually nicely, let's try it out. You can actually get the tanks now. Oh, there's a fucking there was a Zeppelin. Oh my god. That was the bomb. Yeah. Okay, let's just crash from the top into a tank and see whether we can strafe him from the top. Let's pick a good one. That's a good one. Must something tiger, I guess. Yeah, that looked like a tiger. And it, oh, we didn't penetrate. Oh wait, oh my god, this was a B1 tank. No, that was the bomb. That was the tiger. Ah, okay, I guess with better aim I could have gotten him. Well, the Soviet one isn't that strong either. Well, it's stronger than the Japanese and the German one. But now come the actual overpowered dudes. And it's the American planes. Because this is why my whole rant about how weak the German jets are and the excess jets with the Japanese are. Why I was ranting, because it's so insanely overpowered how these jets are, how they perform compared to the American, Japanese and German one. It creates an extreme imbalance, and it creates extremely one-sided battles. Because the problem is, if the German jets would be just similarly powered, weaker would be fine, but similarly powered to the Meteor, it would be cool, it would be okay. But it's not like the Kikka and the Messerschmitt are just an average powered. No, they're literally underpowered for a jet plane. What I would say is, the Soviet one is literally the average for a jet plane. It has good cannons that are viable against enemy planes and also against ground targets. It has okay flying characteristics for a jet plane. For a normal plane, obviously insanely good, but for a jet plane it's okay. And it has the standard bomb. The German one and the Japanese one just has basically no cannon power at all. Despite it looking on the surface better than it is, but no, like it doesn't really work. And now comes the Meteor, which first has an insanely good turn rate. This is literally word for one biplane turn rate stats. These are not stats of a jet plane. Definitely not of a World War II jet plane. This is around 10 seconds faster than in real life. This is like, come on. This is an artificial buff. Completely artificial buff. And then you get 2 heavy bombs. Like, why? Why does this have 2 bombs, whereas the German and Japanese one have 1? The fact that the German one and the Japanese one have such bad cannon versions should lead to the German and Japanese one have 2 and not the American one. So this is like, this just increases the bias even more. And then you get 4 Hispano cannons. like the standard British cannons, which are also great because, well, they're also in the nose, but actually further apart. This actually makes a difference because it makes it like every half of a meter more separation makes it easier to hit enemy planes. And you really need it because you're talking about very fast flying enemy planes. And then you also have more than enough ammunition. You have almost 200 shells per plane. Yep, so this is just the perfect jet plane. And it also literally sounds like a UFO. Yep, it sounds like it sounds like it has a suppressor on the jet engine. Now let's see how well can we bomb. Also, it has a very cool, oh, you see how easy it turns up. It turns up very easily. Also, let's not crash into this thing. Yeah. Now let's try to bomb a King Tiger. Then I'm gonna show you for the end the American premium one, because this is where it becomes even more ridiculous. Yeah, but you see, this video is basically a long rant about the broken balance of the game. Now, for those wondering why did Gaijin do it, well, Gaijin said that they look at stats. How did I miss both bombs? Now that was a noob bombing. They look at the stats, like win rates and other stats, and then they read all the spam that they see in Reddit and the forum, and then they decide. Now, here's the problem. Most people cannot analyze stats properly. Go to any engineering company and see how many people with doctor titles can analyze stats. It requires a lot of experience and understanding the meta you have very well, and also learning statistics properly, because statistics are a deep field, especially if you want to apply it to actual real-life situations, not just theoretically. Problem is with Gaijin, they don't play Enlisted. So what Gaijin likely did is they saw how most American teams lose. Now they think, oh, this means we have to compensate this with buffing the American equipment. Oh my god, you see how easy, look how easily it flies. And here's, by the way, your 30 seconds turn rate. This is literally what a 30 seconds turn rate looks in a jet. Come on. Yeah, I dropped my bombs like an idiot, but yeah, the flying characteristics are insane. And of course, your 20mm cannons. Yep. So, and you can easily para jump out of this plane. You see? Yep. You can just jump out and you instantly land on the ground without dying. So, very nice. Yeah, they look at the stats and they see how American planes constantly lose. But they don't ask themselves, why do they lose? Well, because most American players are just 15-year-old, 12-year-old Fortnite type players from America, many on consoles, and of course they're gonna lose. Because, yeah, like, the game isn't really that easy as Fortnite, so the problem is the player base, not the equipment. Now, the issue is now, if you give the nation such overpowered things, what you get is you're gonna get stacks of sweat lords who are playing Americans now, not just today but for the next months, and they're gonna constantly storm the German teams. And this is just intrinsic bias to the next level, because it's so imbalanced you can't do anything against it. This plane just annihilates everything the Germans have. It even annihilates the German fighter planes, because this is even a better fighter plane than the German fighters. Also, by the way, why isn't this an attacker plane? It has 2 heavy bombs. Like, a fighter plane shouldn't carry 1 ton of bombs with it. It just shouldn't be the case. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah, so yeah, but here, prepare for the biggest bias ever. The American Shooting Star, very cool name, cool aerodynamics. Also cool silvery look. Now, why is this so overpowered? Well, it also comes with 2 heavy bombs. It comes with also insane flying characteristics. And it comes with 6 HMGs. Also very, very well, nicely placed in the front nose. This is even better against enemy planes. And this is the peak predator among enlisted fighter planes now. In the game, because you can't do anything against it. No plane can fly away from this plane. Not a single one. No matter fighter or attacker. It's gonna catch up to everyone. Then it's gonna outturn every enemy plane, except for the other American plane that you will never play against since you're an American yourself. So you can't outplay it, and also it can climb very well. Yes, the Japanese plane climbs even faster, but it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter, because you need to have a perfect ratio of climb rate and distance and speed, and with jet planes it won't matter. So, yep. And you have the perfect weaponry against enemy planes. There's no better type of weapons against enemy planes than HMGs. Why? Because they deal very high damage and they fly basically the fastest. So it's very easy to hit your targets with them. Even especially against fast enemy planes. Oh my god, by the way, the cockpit literally looks like a UFO and it sounds like a UFO. Yep, we have to be careful not to crash into the ground because yeah, like if you played other planes before this, you need to play the jet planes completely differently because you're gonna crash into the ground. My first attempt at flying the Messerschmitt was trying to test it the hard way and trying to dive bomb, and you can imagine how that ended. Yeah, so alright, let's get the Tigers. Now obviously the cannons are... I'm just gonna do 2 bombs to make sure we hit them. Yep, first Tiger dead. You see? Easy life. And now we can just outturn whatever plane is fighting against us. And yep, no way for the enemies to defeat us. Yep, this is just overpowered as hell. Here's the thing, I wouldn't even complain because it's a premium squad. It's a BF5 squad, so it should be a little bit above BF5 power level. But once again, the problem is, it's not that the American jet planes are so fast. The problem is that the German jet planes are just extra bad. This is the problem. Alright, so this is the impression of the jet plane update. I played around 10 games. And yeah, the current situation in the public matches is that people are constantly stacking against each other. So what you're going to experience if you're playing normally is some games will be more or less equal, but then like every third, every fourth game you're going to get stomped completely. Like this is just, but this will go away after a while. What won't go away is that Germans will get stomped constantly when playing against the Americans. But you know what's even worse? Japanese getting stomped by Americans, because they are the biggest sufferers of this update. They have the problem of having only four attacker planes, but no good 4 fighter planes, but no good attacker plane. The highest Japanese attacker plane is BR3. Yes, this is as stupid as with the BR2 anti-tank weapon being the formerly highest anti-tank option. So the Japanese have officially the worst planes in the game now. You can't pick any good attacker plane. By the way, look at this. This is literally your best attacker plane. It has 1 heavy bomb and nothing else. Are you kidding me? World War I machine guns. Do you know what the best American attacker plane is? It's the P-47. And what every American team is doing right now is they are doubling P-47s with the Meteor. And then there's nothing the enemies can do. You literally have the plane with still the highest offensive power. It has still 10 HVAS and a heavy bomb. And it shreds every enemy plane because it has 8 HMGs. And it has good flying characteristics. This plane, which also looks very cool among Thunder and Rain, as we just see, is still the best plane in the game. Possibly the second best after the Meteor. It's still arguable because the offensive power of the HVAS is just too strong. You just destroy everything on the ground. I would be inclined to call the P-47 still overall the best plane. Also, it's much easier to fly. It's very easy to fly. And the Meteor actually requires you to be careful, otherwise you crash constantly. But yeah, the Americans now have the 2 best planes in the game officially. And they can combine them perfectly, since one is an attacker, the one is a fighter. Whereas every other nation, meaning the nations they play against, the Germans just get schlonked. They can't play their Messerschmitts properly. They can't play their K4 plane if they want to play the Messerschmitt, and the Japanese, as we see, are completely fucked. So what Gaijin should do is change, as I said already last week, change one of them into an attacker plane. Now, since these two are in the same squad, yeah, that's another problem. Which one? Like, these two are obviously too weak. What Gaijin should do is change this one, since it's a Messerschmitt, into an attacker plane. Yeah, it would fit. Logically it would fit the system. Turn the Kikka into an attacker plane. Kikka, by the way, means orange blossom. Very cool name. And of course, change the German Messerschmitt, both of them, of course, also into attacker planes. And then it becomes less retarded. Well, actually, if Gaijin wanted to be smart and regarding business, turn this one into an attacker plane and the other one into a fighter plane. Because this is the only way Gaijin is actually going to sell any of those. Because this is so bad, it's just a joke. And also my strong recommendation, give it a bomb. Give it a heavy bomb. Give it a 500 or 1000, because since it's only usable against ground targets, it needs to be at least good at that. But even a 500 kilogram bomb would still make it worse than the normal version. So give it a 1000 kilogram bomb, which would be also cool and fun. Don't worry, it wouldn't be overpowered because bombs are heavily nerfed. And being very heavy doesn't change too much. So yeah, this would be my recommendation. Now, regarding the other changes, there were some bug fixes. There will be also other bug fixes, because there were, like, many people spammed the forum with lots of bug complaints, which makes sense. After the update, we're going to experience lots of bugs, so they'll hopefully be changed as fast as possible. Also, for those who like playing BR2 and BR3, Germany received a bunch of down tiers. For example, the 40 round Beretta is now BR3. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, interesting, quite good. Kirali is BR4. And, well, some people asked what should they play now. Well, if you play BR5 now, if you play German or Japanese, you get stomped. Because the American teams, the ones with stacks and the top tier jets, are gonna stomp you. Which is also, as many people said, it doesn't feel like World War II anymore. Well, I guess being stomped by P-47 at least makes it feel more like World War II again. But yeah, whatever. If you play BR4 right now, you will get up-tiered most often, because everyone is playing BR5. So playing BR4 for the next 1 or 2 weeks isn't too good of an idea. I recommend to start playing it like next month. Because then BR4 should be calmed down and people will stop spamming BR5 the whole time. So yeah, theoretically even next week, because I think most players won't even have fun to play BR5 anymore after 1 week. Now, some other weapons. Also, regarding well, you should absolutely not play Axis BR4, because then you will completely get destroyed by the American jet planes. Yeah, that's not a good idea. Playing Americans literally is the best time ever now. If you play BR5, you obviously gonna have a very easy life, and also BR2 is just shining, because you also have the plane supremacy in BR2. And you have your newest toy, the Thompson, which is just insanely fun, insanely strong. But playing BR3 Americans is also good. Like you have the great machine guns, you have good tanks, you have the best plane in BR3, the Mustang. So yeah, everything's fine. And for the Soviets, BR2 is also very easy right now, because you literally have the best SMGs. The Madsen finally became a bit better, because it received a buff to its recoil. Now it has 39-21. Before that, I think it had 39-39. Yep, the recoil is now so much lower, it's actually a playable machine gun. Before that, the only reason to play it was your only machine gun as a Soviet, but now, yeah, look at this. well, you still can spray it non-stop, but you can easily, by the way, this is the unupgraded version. Yeah, the upgraded versions are much better to control. You see, oh, this is quite good. Yeah, Madsen Live is officially back. And it was quite a good machine gun in the first place, because 25 bullets actually isn't bad. Like 25 bullets is quite good. For low BR, it's quite good. Yeah, and well, and the Japanese, well, the Japanese got theoretically stronger with the Ofenrohr and the jet, but both are just very weak. The Ofenrohr is barely, it's just a little bit, but it doesn't matter. And the jet is just, yeah, it's just the weakest overall. So yeah, okay, this is the update so far. We also got some cool graphic improvements. I noticed weather effects became more prevalent, which is cool. Especially if you fly in the sky, it's nice to see rain and thunder. If you climb 2 kilometers into the sky, you're going to see something like clouds, because your screen is going to get blurry, which is also nice. Also, flame effects got allegedly improved, although I have to say I didn't see much of a difference. The flame effects still look very artificial, and they need to be significantly improved in Enlisted to become really good. Then, of course, Panzer IIIN got removed from BR2 and received allegedly better heat shells. The heat shells now penetrate around 95 or so centimeters, though I think it's just theoretical. Everyone who used it today complained that they barely do anything. So yeah, the Panzer IIIN officially got castrated by being up-tiered. And now, well, what are you playing now? Yeah, there's not much you can play. We're waiting for the Stug live. We're waiting for Stugs to be down-tiered. This is literally the other thing. Gaijin needs to down-tier the Stugs and the Jagdpanzers, meaning the BR4 versions of, because they're literally just, I already said in a couple of videos, everyone's saying it on the internet, everyone who understands the game at least and isn't biased, these tanks are all over-tiered. Like this should be BR4, and even then it wouldn't be that good because it has the same cannon, and these should absolutely be BR3, and the Stugs down to 1 BR. Now the only thing the Germans got better now is that the Panzer IV-H is BR3, which is, well, great. It's literally a Panzer IV-J, which was already the possibly best BR3 tank, but now it has also side skirts, which is cool. This is the only advantage Germany got from the whole update, that it became stronger on BR3. And yeah, if you want to have a good time now, playing BR3 Germany is literally the best BR you can play. Literally the best BR for your nation. Anything else is just pure suffering. For Americans it doesn't matter, BR5 is easy, BR2 is also quite easy. For the Soviets BR2 is always easy, always will be. And BR5 is also very easy, and BR3 is quite fine. And for the Japanese it's basically suffering everywhere. Yeah, BR5 is the worst still. And yeah, BR4 you also have to avoid, obviously. BR2 is actually where Japan has quite a good advantage, because they have some really good SMGs, and they have the best machine gun, and they have okay tanks. It could even, also you want to stay away from BR3, because your planes and tanks become worse and worse and worse relatively to the enemy, to the American planes and tanks, the higher you go in BRs. So Japanese still remain the nation with the weakest power level and with the biggest bias against them. Alright, that's the summary of the update. There's, I expect and I hope significant BR changes and power level adjustments, because right now the game is very imbalanced, and people are very hyped right now because the update came out, but they will be very disappointed eventually. So if you want some adjustments too, just spam the Reddit and the forum that you demand changes, because of course all the biased children are happy about being able to clap their enemies. As you can see, I don't even play Americans, I have BR2 everywhere here. This I just put in to show you, because it's not even fun, it's just very one-sided, it's quite boring. Though I can't wait to try out the new Thompson BR2, it should be quite fun together with the Lanchester. Yeah, we're gonna see. Keep in mind, the Thompson has one of the slowest muzzle velocities in the game. So if you want to use it without trouble, just dual wield it with a Lanchester, because the Lanchester is actually fast. And muzzle velocity is important for long-range targets and mid-range targets, because otherwise enemies can literally outrun your bullets by just running sideways. Because Thompsons are just very, very slow in this regard. So this is perfect for mid and long range, and this is a monster on short range. But of course you can just play the Thompson only, because it has a very high overall power level. Alright, that's it. Let me know what you think and how you like the update. And which, most importantly, which improvements would you recommend? We can collect in the comments, and then everyone can read and get inspiration and just copy-paste them to the social media. So we get the good changes done ASAP. I hope even next week, because yeah, right now the game isn't that fun and balanced to play. Alright? If you learned something, drop a like, of course. And if you're new, subscribe. We're gonna hopefully see some nice news and gaming videos. Of course, I'm gonna do some footage in the next days from the new update content. And share this with all of your other Enlisted playing nerd friends, so they also get the newest stuff about the game and know what to play and what possibly to avoid in order to avoid boring one-sided games. Until soon, goodbye.